Welcome to the Superbook Show.
Today, we're keeping it real.
Today, we have a question from Grace. Grace writes, how can I share my faith without feeling afraid or embarrassed?
Tough question. I have to admit, I identify a lot with Grace. There are times where I think I should talk about God, and I don't.
Because of fear and embarrassment? What are you afraid of?
So much. I mean, what if I get made fun of for talking about God?
Oh, that's easy. You will be made fun of.
Not helping.
Jesus was mocked by the guards at his arrest, by Herod, and even by the crowds at his crucifixion.
If anyone didn't deserve to be mocked, it was Jesus. How was he able to handle it?
Non-stop prayer. We know that Jesus prayed every day. Strength for the hard times starts with prayer. Another key is humility.
What does humility have to do with anything?
Oh, why are we embarrassed?
I get embarrassed because I don't want people to think I'm stupid, wrong, or screwed up.
Well, here's the thing. You are. Well, at least I am. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, and we all mess up. And even if we don't mess up, we are all foolish. Or at least we should be.
Hold up, we should be?
Paul, in his letter to the Corinthians, brags about being a fool for Christ. The whole message of the gospel is foolishness to those who do not understand it.
God uses the foolish things of this world to shame the wise.
Our strength is not in ourselves, but in God, and we should embrace that.
Embrace embarrassment.
Yeah! Be humble, and let God be the one who's not a fool.
Humble yourself before the Lord, and he will lift you up in honor.
When it comes to sharing your faith, there are usually two reasons to be embarrassed. The first one is forcing the conversation.
You mean forcing God into a conversation where it isn't natural?
Exactly. The Bible tells us there's a time to be silent and a time to speak. And we need wisdom on this, and we need to listen.
To the person we're talking to.
Yes, but even more so to the Holy Spirit. I said there were two reasons to be embarrassed. The second reason is to miss the opportunity.
When we feel like we should say something, but we don't.
Remember what Philip told Chris and Joy before he talked to the Ethiopian eunuch?
But do you have the power?
All power comes from God. It is enough for me to follow where he leads and allow him to use me in whatever way serves him best.
Okay, so one more thing to be embarrassed about. What if we lose?
Lose? Lose what?
The argument. What if the person we're talking to is smarter, or they have a question we don't know the answer to?
Are we talking about God, or are we arguing about God?
Aren't they the same thing?
No, not in the least. We're not called to argue anyone into heaven, and it's not our job to prove God.
I thought we were supposed to share the gospel.
Share? Yes. Argue? No. We're called to be witnesses, not lawyers. Plus, we don't have to know everything.
Says who?
Paul, Jesus, anyone who has ever thought seriously about any of this. Paul makes it very clear we will not fully understand God until we get to heaven.
So what if someone asks a question and you don't know the answer?
You say, good question. I don't know the answer, but let's see what we can find out together.
That's part of the whole humility thing, isn't it?
Humble yourself before the Lord, and he will lift you up in honor.
Okay, so embrace embarrassment, be a fool for Christ, and let God be the perfect one.
Agreed. His word is forever alive. To learn more about how to embrace embarrassment, check out the Superbook Show episode, Fools for Christ.
You can look up the verses we discussed in your very own Superbook Bible app. Come over to the superbookshow.com for your free download today.
See you next time. Today, we have a question from Grace. Grace writes, and I don't have anything for to read.
God uses the foolishness of that's a hard word.
The whole message of the gospel. Gospel? Oh my gosh. I just said gosh. Okay. Don't be humble. My goodness. I know. I'm like, don't be a fool. Go to school. Woo.